Hey guys, we got the Husqvarna 372xp here that we picked up the other day. As you can see, this thing doesn't have any compression really. I was not able to get it started today. I have had it running before and it kind of runs, but only when you give it the throttle it just dies. So can't get it to start up. So I bought a cheap Amazon rebuild kit for like 40 bucks, 50 bucks. I'm gonna try rebuilding it. Alright guys, we're ready to rebuild it here. Got a makeshift workstation here on top of the grill. New place here, and we have not set up a workbench yet. So here's our workbench. So I bought these T-handled Allen and Torx on Amazon. I'll have a link to those in the description. And also this rebuild kit that I got on Amazon. This is pretty much the cheapest kit that I could find on Amazon. I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks. So it's by no means the best, but we're just hoping to get this thing running for right now. So came with a cylinder, piston, got a wrist pin, some wrist pin retaining clips. I'm not sure if we're gonna actually use those or not, or use the ones that are in here. We'll see. Got a roller bearing. We got some piston rings, a base gasket. I believe that's probably an exhaust gasket, maybe, I'm thinking. Got a air filter, spark plug. Yeah, so let's get into this here, right? So, alright, we'll take our air filter cover off first. We'll take the handle off here. We got a half wrap handle. Got kids playing out in the driveway right now, so you might hear some noises out there or something. What's up, buddy? Your boot? Yeah. Okay, just a second, okay? Yeah, just a second. Do you want to take them off? Yeah. Alright, here we go. Got our half wrap handle off. Set these off to the side here. Okay. Next, we're going to take this top shield here off. The half wrap came off with a 4 millimeter handle there. This is a T27 Torx or flathead, whichever you prefer. On the side here, and here. And we're going to take our air filter off. There we go. And then we can get this up here. There we go. Got that off. Those screws stay right in there, they don't come out. Now we'll take our exhaust off next. So we're going to take out these 4 bolts right here. Those are 4 millimeter, I believe. Yep. The bugger doesn't want to come out. Let's see if we can do it. Got a 4 millimeter on the ratchet here. There we go. Alright. We got some bolts inside the exhaust here. There's our exhaust gasket. Got a new one of those. Alright, that bolt doesn't come out because the exhaust is dented there. Got a heat shield. Alright. Unplug our piston here. I'll just leave the piston in there. Okay, so now we're gonna unhook our exhaust here. Looks like it's just zip tied on here. I wonder if we can just slip it off. No, we can probably just unhook our zip tie. Don't feel like that tight. I'm gonna go see if I can find a razor knife to get that zip tie out. Alright, got a razor knife here. Just kind of pry underneath that zip tie tab right there. We're just gonna have it, I think. Pry it off. There we go. Alright. I believe the last thing we've got to do here to get the cylinder off is just, there's 4 screws right down in here. Take this little grommet out right there. And then we'll take these out. I believe they're 4mm. Yep. There we go. Now we're gonna have to take that off. We'll worry about that a little bit later though. Smell plenty of gas in there. There's our base gasket. So I'll bring you up close here so you can see. Yeah, this is, yeah, lots of scoring in here. I already had this apart earlier actually, and I tried just honing the cylinder out, but some of these gouges were just so deep that it's just, yeah, too much leaking by. So this piston, the previous owner put this brand new piston in here, and it's all scored up already, and yeah, is what it is. So bring you in closer so you can see. So I don't know if that's considered too bad, but some of those, like those ones right there, those ones were pretty deep. And then I'll take you a close up on the piston. Front of the piston here. If you drag your nail on there, you can feel all those pretty deep. So we're gonna try this. Drag your nail on there. I don't know, maybe this piston would be fine, but in my opinion, it's not. Our next step will just be to take out these retaining clips here, and we can slide that wrist pin out and take this piston off. Alright, got our needle nose here. Pull this out. Maybe. There we go. I got it. Just, right there. Alright, now let's see if we can push our wrist pin out. Now we'll pull this other retaining clip out. Alright, Gonna try to push this wrist pin out here. I think they're kind of pressed in there, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna try using this C-clamp to get it started moving and see if I can get it to slide out with this. There we go. All right, there we go, we got it out. Stick our new piston on there. All right, stick this new piston in here. You want to make sure there's an arrow on here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. There's an arrow right there. You want that to be pointed towards your exhaust. We're just going to leave that roller bearing in there. It looks fine. Now, you know what? Yeah, okay, so here's a difference. I'll bring you in close so you guys can see this. So here's an example of you're getting what you pay for. This is the new one. This is the old one, so I'm assuming that's the stock Husqvarna bearing. There's less rollers on this one, and this one is a hair smaller. So I think we're gonna stick with the stock one. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of oil when I'm putting this back together. And I'm just gonna pour a little, I've got some 2-stroke oil here. I'm just gonna pour a little bit in the cap and I'm just gonna lube stuff up as I put it back together. I don't know if that's really necessary or not, but we're gonna do it. Then stuff being lubricated is rarely a bad thing, so. There we go. Alright, so here's our new wrist pin. Stick in here. Slide in pretty easy. It does. Alright, so we're making sure we've got our arrow pointing out towards the exhaust. You know what, let's compare these pistons real quick. One thing I would say, I don't know if this guy, he put a new piston in it and I don't know where he got this. You know what, I do have the old piston. These pistons look exactly the same. I would say this is probably a cheap Amazon piston just like I got. Let me go get the other one and we'll look at the stock piston. Alright, as I went and got this, I remembered why this saw was in this condition. The guy told me that the person he bought it from put this piston in it. I don't know if this guy was telling me the truth or not, but as you can see, these pistons are not the same height. And he said that this thing started up and then smacked the skirt of the piston there on the rod. And I can definitely see evidence of that on the rod. But seems pretty tight there, so. All right, we're gonna get the intake ports there. Not even close to the same. I can definitely tell port sizes in here are a lot smaller and just generally not as big. I did not order the X-Torque version. I just ordered this regular 372xp. So I called Amazon, their customer service, explained the situation. They're going to allow me to return this. I ordered the correct kit. That'll be here in a few days. All right, well, that made a lot of sense. And honestly, that's probably why this thing doesn't run, because this piston is so much shorter than this one. Obviously, you're going to have lower compression. So if I just stick these guys together in the same wrist pin here, you can see that's probably like 1/4 of an inch lower. I mean, so you're losing a ton of compression there. I would be willing to bet there is a pretty good chance if we just threw a new piston in this thing, this would probably run right here as is. That's just my guess. I thought we were losing so much compression because the scoring on the inside of this cylinder here, which it scored pretty bad, but I would think that this is probably actually our problem here, is the wrong piston, obviously. So, all right, we'll see how this goes when we get the new kit in here. All right, guys, we got our correct kit here. This is an X-Torque cylinder head here. Came with some new gaskets. Some other new gaskets. So the cylinder head actually matches that cylinder. That's good. Okay, a couple of piston rings. There we go. Okay. All right. So this piston, that's actually a match for our original piston. So that's good. It's no wonder that thing didn't run before when you got a piston that's a good 1/4 inch shorter, so you got pretty much no compression in there. All right, so we got a good piston, got some rings, gaskets. Cylinder head looks good. It is not quite a match. I'm not sure what the correct term is, but basically the ports that come in right here, they're just little slits. I don't know how well you can see it or not. Right there, you can see that's just a little slit, and on this one, on the original, not gonna be able to see it. They're a lot bigger. Maybe you can see it here. Okay, yeah, right there you can see how big that hole is below my thumb. And on this one, much smaller. But hey, it's 40 bucks. What are you gonna do? Right. Got the dog running around here. What you think, Georgia? Get down, get down. This kit comes with a new intake boot there. Might just use our old one though. Some screws, spark plug. Got a new roller bearing for this one. This bearing doesn't have as many needle bearings. I think I'm just going to use the old one. We'll just leave that one in there. New decompression switch. Those are main rod bearings. Not doing that. Spark plug. Okay, so let's open our pin. Let's stick our piston on here. Let's get going, right? This is my first time rebuilding a chainsaw, so I don't know if this is technically the way you do this or not, but it seems to me that it would make sense that you would want stuff to be lubed up right at the beginning. A lot of cars and stuff, nothing else on and stuff. Okay. Now remember, we've got these little pins on the bottom of the, or in the piston ring here. And your piston ring has, I don't know how well that can be seen. You see those little notches there? That go, make sure you orient your ring in the correct way on the piston here. There we go. Just a little bit on here. These rings seem to want to wander on this piston. I don't know if that's a normal thing or a cheap kit thing. My guess is it's a cheap kit thing. So just pay attention to that. Now remember, we've got our arrow on top of the piston here. We want that to point to our exhaust side. So the piston's going to be oriented like this. Right. Got these retaining clips here. Get my needle nose for those. Alright, couldn't find my needle nose, but weld pliers ought to do it. So we're basically just pushing these rings in there. There's a little groove in the side of the piston right there. And just basically pushing it into the groove and twisting to compress that clip. Giving it a little bit of a twist seems to help as well. There we go. Alright, got a new base gasket in here. Some guys do a base gasket delete. That's supposed to give you a little bit more compression, changes your timing a little bit, stuff like that. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to put the new gasket in. Okay, got our gasket set down there. Making sure that we've got our piston rings oriented correctly because they tend to move. Squishing them in, sliding onto the cylinder. Just looking down the port right here to make sure that the rings are sitting in the correct groove, and they are. I just decided to reuse the old boot. This one seems like it has a little twist. I don't know if the old one has it. I'm just happy with the old one, so we're just going to use the old one. Alrighty. Now we need to put our screws back down, screw our cylinder head back down. I seem to have lost one of my head bolts, but the kit came with some new ones. They're not as long as the old ones. Alrighty. Okay, let's stick our bolts back in. We'll torque them down here in a second. We don't want to torque them down until after we get all the screws started in the holes. Make sure we've got our gasket placement in the right spot and everything, and if we need to shift the cylinder a smidge or something like that. I'm not sure if there's torque specs for these. There probably is, but I'm just using the German method, which is good and tight. Alrighty. Piston moves. Okay, we got a 13mm socket to put our decompression switch back in. Some guys delete this. I might delete it later. There's nothing stopping you from deleting it later if you want. There we go. Let's Stick our exhaust back on here. Stick our new spark plug in here. This has got a gold plated top on there, which we all know means that it's way better than stock. Should add another couple horse. Don't like that. As I'm turning this in, it seems that there's kind of like a rough spot in one of the threads, or the thread or something. Alright, put this bracket on here. Go. Well, yeah, I don't have that, got my old zip tie. Let's see if we can't get this thing to fit on there. That's pretty tight. We'll work with that. I'm happy with it. That guy right there. So, I wonder if we can just stick this down through there. Oh, we can't. Is this the right size? Does not appear to be. It's too big. There we go. That's the ticket. That is a 4mm. There we go. There we go. Nicely done. Again, we're going to put all these screws in loose, and then we'll torque them down once we get them all in place. It's just a general good practice with anything you're putting together. Okay. Torque them down. Alright, no new filter in this kit. we go. Are you ready? Let's find out if this thing works, huh? That's a good sign. It works. I think I need to mess with the throttle and idle adjustments there. But hey, it's running. Alright guys, so right here is our full throttle adjustments here. I actually stuck my screwdriver in there. Let's see if we can get a... Yeah, you can see those adjustment screws right there. There we go. That's a little blurry yet, but you can see those screws in there. I set the, or I stuck my screwdriver in there and started playing with them, and I had both the high and the low absolutely maxed out. So we're gonna start it up, and then I'm just gonna play with those, start backing them back in until we get a good top end on the saw. Alright guys, well, those screws really only go about one turn, and so I had them maxed out, and I basically turned them back about halfway to where like all the way closed, all the way opened. I put them about in the middle. Definitely got more top end speed now. I did have this out earlier before I made this adjustment and was cutting some wood with it, and it just really had no power. So I'm going to take it out today. We're going to cut another load with it today, hopefully. And we're going to see how that top end and how the power is. So I'm going to take my screwdriver out there so I can adjust it in the woods if I need to, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm going to have another video that will be reviewing some 810 chainsaw chain, and we'll also give an update on how the power is going in that video as well. I'll also do a separate video that just kind of gives my feelings on this Amazon rebuild kit. That is going to wrap up our video here today. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe learned something about rebuilding chainsaws, or whether or not you want to buy an Amazon rebuild kit or not. So if you liked this video, hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment down below for the algorithm. Enjoy your day. Have a good one, guys.